time you felt guilty for ruining a surprise? My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. Last year, he moved into my apartment, a tiny place with creaky floors and way too much sunlight in the mornings. I'd already lived there for a while, and one of the best parts about settling in was my neighbor, Mrs. Palmer. She's retired, sprightly despite her age, and she's basically the unofficial mayor of our complex. It's like she has a sixth sense for everyone's schedule and all the neighborhood gossip. Today, she caught me on my way out and told me, very seriously, that she had something important she needed to share, but I shouldn't get mad at her. I told her it was fine, honestly expecting something about our trash cans or a neighbor's cat. Instead, she leaned toward me, voice hushed, and said she'd seen another woman coming into my apartment when I wasn't home. Alarm bells didn't just go off, they exploded. She insisted she'd seen this lady come by at least 3 times. Each time, the woman would stay for an hour or two, hugging and kissing my boyfriend, then leave before I got home. She tried to describe her, but it was also generic. Young, pretty, shoulder-length hair. I thanked Mrs. Palmer, promised I wouldn't shoot the messenger, and went straight inside, pulse pounding like I'd just run a marathon. Honestly, I felt sick. We'd always said if anything like cheating ever happened, it'd be better to end things than sneak around. But lately, he had started picking up more overtime and coming home a little more tired, but with fatter paychecks. My friend works at his company and confirmed the hours and extra pay, so part of my mind wanted to believe in him, but still I couldn't shake the suspicion. I didn't sleep much that night. The next morning, I made him coffee, tried to keep my voice steady, and just blurted it out. "Who's the woman you've been having over when I'm gone?" He looked confused, then started to laugh, a weird, nervous chuckle that made me more anxious, not less. I told him I wasn't in the mood for jokes and sat on the edge of the couch, bracing for the worst. He took a deep breath and finally explained. He'd been planning to propose to me, and one of my best friends had come over to help pick out a ring. They'd been talking about when, where, and how to do it, even looking at Pinterest boards and texting each other ideas. He showed me their chat, pages of discussion about different settings, stone shapes, proposals with and without crowds. My friend had come over a couple times, but apparently Mrs. Palmer's detective skills weren't as sharp as she used to be. Most of their planning was online. I sat there, utterly speechless. Of course, all the clues added up now. My friend had randomly asked about dream weddings, rings I liked, proposals I'd seen on Instagram. I'd brushed it off as girl talk, never considering she was actually gathering intel. I burst out laughing, half in relief, half in embarrassment. "I ruined the whole surprise," I groaned. He just smiled and told me he'd have probably panicked too, and that maybe he'd have to switch up the plans now, but he wasn't mad at all. My friend couldn't believe it when I called. She teased me mercilessly about my meltdown and promised she'd find an even better way for him to propose now that I'd spoiled their secret operation. We went back and forth for a while, and it felt so good to laugh about it after the anxiety of the last 24 hours. Looking back, I feel totally ridiculous for letting my mind go there so quickly. But honestly, when someone you trust gives you a warning, it's hard not to act on it, especially when your heart's on the line. My boyfriend understands. He said he'd be just as worried if the tables were turned. Mrs. Palmer apologized for being wrong, but I reassured her I'd always rather know too much than too little. After all, it led to something good, and now I know there's a diamond in my future and 2 people who know me well enough to keep me on my toes. The stress of this week reminded me just how wild love can be. Even when you're certain, there are twists you never see coming. Next time, maybe I'll trust a little more before jumping to conclusions. But for now, I'm just grateful that sometimes a misunderstanding is the start of something wonderful.